Let's look at another kind of philosophical problem. The previous question was illustrated with a lot of interesting visual material. Was it art? What is art? Not everything visual is art. If I paint my house, for example, the result's not likely to be art, unless I'm Picasso. Sometimes it's suggested that for something to be art, it has to be beautiful, but much great art is hardly beautiful. Others have thought that for something to be art, it has to be socially relevant. But there's nothing socially relevant about, say, ancient Greek art, at least not now. Maybe then, something's art simply if an artist calls it art. But then, how do you tell the difference between an artist and a charlatan? Well, that was a problem from aesthetics, the philosophy of art. Let's finish with one more problem, again of a very different kind. This comes from political philosophy. What's the best form of government for a country? I suppose that it will be widely agreed, at least in modern Western countries, that democracy is the best form, where governments are elected by a majority of the people. But if you're ill, you'd hardly hold an election to decide how you should be cured. If you wanted a house built or a car repaired, you wouldn't take a majority vote, so why should government be any different? And if you have to elect people at all, why not simply do it on the basis of lot? After all, that seems the fairest way to choose a jury. Well, we've now looked at 6 different philosophical problems, and these are just a sample of the very wide range of questions that philosophers ask. But philosophers do more than just ask questions, they try to answer them too. Now, how do you set about answering questions of the kind we've just been looking at? You certainly can't find answers that everyone will agree with in books. We'll come back to that question in a minute. For the moment, let's leave it and turn to another. Why might you consider studying philosophy? Suppose, for example, that you're just about to go to university. Why might you consider taking some philosophy? One reason is that many philosophical issues are practically important.
Inevitably, people do have views on issues such as politics, morality and religion. Those issues affect us and we affect them, and if we don't have insight and understanding, then our actions can have some serious consequences for ourselves and for others.
Most of our views, I think, are pretty much given to us by sources that have a vested interest, such as your parents, the media, religious authorities.
Well, if people think things through for themselves, quite simply, they're not going to be taken advantage of. They're not depending on other people.
Another reason for studying philosophy is that it can be fun. And you shouldn't underestimate this. If you enjoy something, you're much more likely to do well at it.
It's fairly hard work figuring out strategies which can be used to answer philosophical questions, but I really enjoy it.
I don't think it is for everyone. I think people who want to take what they're told for granted might not enjoy philosophy, but people who are inquisitive and want to explore their own independent thought might really enjoy philosophy a lot.
There can be cultural meanings attributed to behaviour.
In a good philosophy course, you'll never be told what to think. Your ideas will certainly be challenged, but in the end, it'll be up to you to make up your own mind.
If you believe that cockroaches are more important than humans, and the best thing for this planet is to get rid of all the humans, then you end up with a system in which the greatest evil is for humans to survive.
A third reason for studying philosophy concerns the abilities that this will give you. Studying philosophy develops important problem-solving skills. What skills? Well, this takes us back to the question I raised earlier. How do you go about solving philosophical problems? There's no recipe for it, but most solutions have at least 3 distinct aspects with 3 corresponding skills. First, philosophical problems are often somewhat vague, And the first thing you have to do is to analyse and clarify the problem. This may involve sorting through a large number of ideas and figuring out which ones are relevant and how. Next, when the problem's been clarified, you have to think up possible solutions. And because there are no set answers in philosophy, this is a very creative activity. Many of the ideas that are most important to us were in fact first thought up by philosophers. Finally, when you've thought up possible solutions, you have to figure out how good they are. After all, even the most thoughtless of people can have views on morality, religion, politics, but these may be worth very little. To determine how good an idea is, you have to look at reasons. Reasons for it and reasons against it. And you have to figure out how good those reasons are. Studying philosophy will develop all these important skills.
I think I like the process of trying to find out and trying to clarify the concept that we've got.
What I like about philosophy is there are no set answers. It allows you to develop your own ideas.
Philosophy doesn't tell you what to think, it just tells you how to think. It gives you the skills, it gives you the equipment to wade through information so that you can make sound judgments for yourself.
In philosophy you learn how to cut through bad arguments and how to defend yourself against people who will attack your arguments and your point of view.
And these skills aren't just applicable in philosophy. In most jobs, in fact in life quite generally, you have to face problems, not problems of a kind that you meet in school where there's a known method for finding a set answer, but real problems where goals, methods and solutions are all fluid and ill-defined. Philosophy teaches you exactly how to operate in situations like this. And for this reason, people with a training in philosophy often do well in law, the media, business, in fact, in most walks of life.
My first philosophy class was like a breath of fresh air in the openness that it showed to me.
My mother has always come up with really bad arguments for things, and since I've done philosophy, she's been strangely silent.
I did philosophy because I love thinking and I like to see the world in new ways, and it gives me the opportunity to do that.
It's something that embellishes your life. It makes your life flourish.
We are thinking beings, and philosophy is about thought.
Well, we're at the end of our whistle-stop tour of philosophy here. Maybe you've just learnt that you've been doing philosophy for a long time without knowing it. Most people do. Of course, most people do other things as well. There are many good things to do in life. So many, in fact, that you can't do all of them. So, which of the many things should you do to make your life as valuable and meaningful as possible? That's perhaps one of the most famous philosophical questions of all. What's the meaning of life? Or, to put it more simply, how do we fit into the big picture? I'll leave you with that question.